Hi, Sparkles. Welcome back to the Intuitive Wisdom Podcast. This is episode 212, November Insights with Christina. October felt like a movie titled Everything, Everywhere, All at Once. Chaos, movement, expansion, and reflection. But here's the thing. The chaos helped us prioritize. It showed us what truly matters and what we can let go of or let fall away. In today's conversation, Christina and I explore what it means as we move into November, a month of responding rather than reacting. We talk about how human design helps release pressure and guide our decisions or decision-making process, taking ownership in relationships without carrying others' emotions, and how the struggle can actually reveal the magic. We're tuning into the current energy of the gate of the fighter, learning what's worth the fight and what's ready to be released. You'll also hear about Christina's gratitude challenge and my brand new Deep Home Reset service, now available remotely to help you shift energy wherever you are. So settle in, take a nice deep breath, and ask yourself, what's your focus? More importantly, what's your feeling for November? Here we go. Welcome to Intuitive Wisdom, a space where insight meets energy and intuition leads the way. I'm Margaret, author, Angel Reiki Master, biotech graduate, and a guide for those seeking alignment in their home and life. Whether you're navigating change, clearing emotional clutter, or simply craving clarity, Intuitive Wisdom invites you to slow down, tune in, and rise into your authentic self. New episodes weekly. Come home to your own knowing. Okay, Sparkles, before we get to the awesome insights for November, I've got a few quick announcements. First, have you tried my free quiz yet? It's called Is Your Home Supporting Your Expansion? It only takes a few minutes and you'll get clear insight into how your space may be shaping your energy and where you can start to shift things. Go to deliciousease.com/quiz to get your free copy. And my book, Make Ease Your Vibe, is available now on Amazon in paperback and Kindle. It's packed with practical strategies for shifting your energy, managing your time intuitively, and raising your vibe. Your daily vibe, right? We want to aim towards ease being a regular thing. Plus, you get access to exclusive chapter bonuses. After you purchase the book, you can enter your information on my website at deliciousease.com to get access to those bonuses. And I've got exciting news. I am working on my second book, which is all about podcasting and how to start your own awesome podcast. So stay tuned for more details and definitely sign up for my email list if you want the latest. But just know there's more about podcasting to come. Last but not least, I am now a teacher on Insight Timer. I'm very excited to share this. You can now find my guided meditations on the free app Insight Timer. It's an amazing space with millions of listeners worldwide. I've got lots of free tracks. I add to them weekly. And also, I just published my first course there about how to connect with your own spirit guides. All right, let's get to the November insights. Hi, Christina. Happy November. How are you?
I'm good. Thank you. Yeah, I don't know about you. I feel like this past month has just been like all of it. It's been like I like going back and trying to think about what's been going on. I'm like, all of these things happened in this short period of time, and it has been like awesome things. It has been pure chaos sometimes. I don't know. How has your October been?
I felt that too. It kind of, on some level, it felt like October 1, Margaret 0, where it was just lots and me trying to keep up and reminding myself to honor the rest and stop when because sometimes you need to stop. Yeah, on all fronts, there was more. But interestingly enough, like I did my own personal review before we met to chat today. And one of the things that came up was like, are my goals big enough right now? Like now that everything's sped up, God, that's what it feels like. I'm thinking to myself, oh, did I get too comfortable? Like I know my big goals are big. Mm-hmm. That makes sense. But the stuff that I do now, the expectations I have on a daily basis, but I agree. I feel like the past couple of months we've been talking about how time itself seems to have expanded. And then, yes, it seems life went ahead and filled in all the blanks.
Yeah. Yeah. and I feel like it has been this way. Everybody that I've talked to, all of the like people in my life that I've been communicating with are just like, "Oh my gosh, this October, like, man, it is just." I feel like for me, like I launched a new program. I had friends
Yay.
come to visit. Like I did all these really cool things, and then it would feel like I also just felt this need to like you need to rest more. You need to like it was like this push pull of energy that I couldn't I was struggled I think in the sense that like trying to get the structure around it. So it just felt like it was kind of bursting into the seams everywhere in terms of like all the things that were going on, and it wasn't that I wasn't that I wasn't doing enough, and it wasn't that I was doing too much, because I do feel like I had a really pretty good balance in terms of like honoring those energies, but it just felt like I was just on this. I mean, like we had planned this last week, and I had messaged you right before, and I'm like, I
Next
don't
week.
know. This morning is chaos. I don't like I don't know how we're going to be able to fit this in, and I'm going to be able to show up in the way that I want to. Um, but I think that, like you're saying, like I think that we have been talking about all this expansion, all these things, and like time slowing down and really being able to enjoy and savor it. And then it was just like, okay, and now we're switching and things are moving. And
Yeah,
I'm
put it into practice. Can you honor all that while the world is spinning a little faster?
yeah, and I really liked what you said too about like, are my goals big enough? Are the things that I'm doing like, yeah, like chaos can be happening or like things can just be moving, but is like, am I keeping up and like in the way that I want to? Like, am I being able to take this energy, harness it, and then be able to utilize it?
Yeah, I'm very excited to see your card pull for today because I left that. I have like focus and feeling at the top of my list for November, and I left that part blank because I was like, I feel that I feel like they're not big enough on a daily basis, even though, like you said, there is a lot of things, and I appreciate you bringing that up because I am happy with the fact that it made it easier for me to choose what I value, like where I want to spend my time. Also honoring those moments, like being present in the moment. I worked really hard to do that, even though the schedule felt overwhelming. You might be proud. I read another human design book, and I actually looked up my family members, and looked at their don't you can correct me. Strategy is how you do life. Authority is how you make decisions. Yes. Okay. So like my family members all have the same authority, not the same as me. I have a different one. So I was like, oh, this helps me advise them because in my family, for some reason, everyone comes to me and says, well, what about this? And usually my response is not helpful because it's how I would make a decision, not what they need. So that was helpful in this overwhelm of everybody. And then also strategy. And I know I've heard it a million times, but as a generator, it is to respond. Nobody else in my family is a generator, but it really helped me give myself the permission to relieve some of that pressure I usually put on myself. Usually it's like, oh my goodness, everything is overwhelming. I have to get it done. And I put it all on myself. And then when I read again, but somehow this time it clicked a little better, that my strategy is to respond and the universe is working with me. Then I was like, okay, that takes the pressure off. I am overwhelmed. My job is to show up as my best self and do that again and again and again. I can do that. So then it felt a little more in flow and not like I was missing opportunities or losing by not controlling the situation and trying to force that chaos into some sort of structure. So I appreciated that.
Yeah. Wow. I think that ability to bring your strengths to it and be able to utilize what you do well, but not forcing other people to necessarily behave or think or react or make decisions like you're talking about and in the same way. And having that ability to have that knowledge and that just, I feel like it gives a little bit of distance while still
Yeah, greases the wheels a little bit.
yeah. And I
I
think it
appreciate it.
releases some of the pressure too. And like you're
Yes,
saying, like,
yes, that's a good way of putting it.
the ability to respond and be like, okay, you know what? Again, like this is what I have control over. This is what I don't have control over. And I am not responsible for making all these things happen. One of the things that had kind of come up through the month for me and in conversations that I've had as well was just this idea of ownership in relationship as well. So like as a parent, as a spouse, as a colleague or business partner, like where we try to manage other people's emotions, how we try to
Hmm.
manage how other people like, oh, I don't want them to feel bad, or I don't want, I don't want my kids to get hurt, or like these different ways that it would kind of show up. But it was a lot of this like, where where is my like taking that step back and having that space, like where does um my own responsibility and how I feel differ from how I'm trying to maybe control somebody else so that it influences how it makes me feel, if that makes sense. So like other people's emotions,
Does feels
if
very
that,
meta, but I think I'm
yeah,
with you.
yeah, like other people's emotions and then like their impact on me. So if, my child is feeling sad or heartbroken or anything like that, like taking on those emotions and feeling that for them. Or,
Mm.
I'm in this tough bit with my partner or relationship and like taking on some of their emotions that are coming through rather than just sitting with your own part of it and allowing them the space to be able to have
Mhm.
their emotions and how
I
much.
think that's the hardest part. It's really hard to see somebody you love going through not so fun times and
Yeah.
to sit and allow for that space and to hold your own high vibration and go, okay, that's the best I can do for them is to show love and kindness, even if it doesn't make sense, even if it's not what I'm getting back right now. But like, I'm just going to hold me and let them do them. And yeah, that I find difficult, but very valuable.
Well, and so valuable, I think, for the person too, because you're not trying to gloss over. I think sometimes we try to like band-aid it over and make it better,
Hmm.
but really allowing them the space to be able to feel whatever they're feeling and not have to adjust their behavior necessarily for you, like adjusting it on their own because
Yeah.
they're choosing that.
Yeah.
And I
That's
just feel
huge.
like this has kind of come up through different conversations and even just as you were talking too, like just that ability to have that better idea and just those reminders all the time of like where am I, what do I have control over, and then what else is just out there that I'm just supposed to just let be.
You know, I've had a couple conversations this month now that you bring it up about meaning and that kind of this idea that nothing has meaning but what you associate, what you give something meaning.
Mhm.
So I think from what I'm hearing you say right now, that's also an association with our relationships, like where somebody's emotional reaction, for instance, you're giving that a certain meaning, which that might not be what it means for them, but like allowing that space also allows for that understanding of where maybe they're actually coming from. I
Mhm.
also had it come up for me personally. I've started reading a new money book and this idea of like your relationship with money instead of money blocks. It's just like a different view on the same thing, but the same kind of thing. What expectations have I put on money in terms of its power or its use or its role in my life? And what do I want it to be? So again, this like where am I placing the meaning kind of idea.
Mhm. Yeah, I like that. That's interesting about like the meaning that you're putting to things. I have been doing a lot of like the Abraham Hicks meditations and
I love
affirmation things
those.
and having that as that like background thing of just like I where I am and what my frequency and whatever is kind of, what's calling things in. But doing that, and I think for me sometimes like the whole law of attraction thing and all of it, I really like and appreciate so much of it. And then I also see it being used as like, oh, well, you're just calling in these things that are negative to like having it be used as more of like a victim mentality or like a putting blame on somebody for it. And I don't like it being used in that way. So I think that from it, when I was listening to him again and going back and going through it and just like, it's changing how I show up because it doesn't really matter. It's not that you're never going to have anything bad happen to you. It's that contrast that's doing it, right? But it's how I interpret and like you're saying, like how I give meaning and what I make that be in my life, and that changes how I show up. If I
Hmm.
get bad news and then I'm like devastated by it all day and I'm making it mean all of these things and all of this other stuff, and I'm going out and I'm in the world that way, I'm showing up much differently than if I take it and I'm like, okay, this is not what I had planned. This isn't what I had anticipated, expected, or wanted. But where can I go and what does that mean for me? And like not having it mean everything there. Like this is just one step and I don't know what the future is going to be. It can look like it's terrible right now.
Or you could assume it's all happening
Yeah,
for your best good. So how does that fit into that puzzle?
right. And either way, like what is the benefit of me sitting here and like just in the state about it when I don't know what it's going to be? Like I want to choose, and I like that they're focused on like choosing where you're going to
Hmm.
put your energy and what vibration you want to get into, and just being like, yeah, you know what? I don't know what this is going to be, but this is not going to help me out now to be able to be assuming it's going to be bad. It could work out to be great. And I just don't know that yet. But I do like that, like when you're talking about the meaning and the meaning that we're ascribing, I think that that's been something that's been coming up too. And I don't know if these are, I honestly haven't looked at the transits for the last few weeks to see. But I would anticipate this is probably all, definitely part of it. But, where these themes that we're seeing, and it can be in different conversations and it can be in different contexts, but being able to notice, and that's one of the things I like about these conversations too, is just like, oh yeah, like noticing
Yeah,
these
me
things are
too.
going on in all different ways in all different people.
And some of the human design reading I did this month, that help that kind of fit into that as well for me, at least from a generator perspective. This idea that same idea, like law of attraction, always thought of as magnet. Like if I set my internal magnet as high vibe, then that's the plane and frequency I'm operating at. That's kind of what I'll come into contact with. But more from a human design, it felt like if I can raise my vibration and feel good and see the positive, then those are the doors that will open. Like I don't have to go chase it. That's not just what I'll attract, but I'll see is available for me. I don't know if I might describe that correctly, but for me, it really tied into the law of attraction work and made it make sense in a new way.
Yeah, I think that's totally. And I was just looking on the my other thing. I was just looking to see what gate we were in, just out of
Oh, okay.
curiosity. um, and we're in the gate of the fighter right now, which totally makes sense. We're like learning what's worth fighting for, and it's in
Okay.
the struggle and all of that. So like, as we were talking, I'm just like, oh, I wonder. And yes, we are in here. And this is like the search for meaning, like what things are worth the struggle for us, what things are
Hmm.
worth putting in the energy for, and what things do we want to let go, and what do we want to get rid of. And I think that that is like this time of year, and like with that creative destruction and fall and whatever, like what do I want to just let go of and move away from, and what do I actually want to stand and say, this is worth my time, this is worth my energy, this is going to take some energy. It's going to take some expenditure on my part, but I want to do that because I know that on the other side of that is my growth, is my joy, is my satisfaction, even in it sometimes. We often think that like the fight and the struggle is what we're trying to get through, but looking back on some of the times in my life, that the struggle was where a lot of the magic happened, like being
That's
able
a good way of
to
putting it.
enjoy and appreciate that.
Yes, even if you can't appreciate that till a good bit after.
Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, do we want to look forward to
Yeah.
November? What do you
Yeah.
see? What are you excited for?
Yeah, so we had talked last month and we were talking about something, I think, and you had talked about the gratitude challenge that we did a few years ago, and it got me thinking,
Hmm.
and I was like, you know what? It has been a little while, and I think that I could personally use a little gratitude in my life. So I'm going to be revamping the gratitude challenge. I'm just
Yay.
doing it online. It's totally free. I'll have all the prompts on there. If you want to sign up and get the emails so it's sent to your inbox, you can. But we're going to do
Do it.
30 days of gratitude to just do an overall, like, raise your vibration. So do what you want to, share what you want to, do it on your own personal journey. Do all of them, do none of them. It's not, it's meant to be really just kind of like what impacts and what moves you. But I wanted to take all of these different ways and start to bring that in again, and be able to offer that. I think there's so much going on in the world that we can just have a lot of negative things that are in
Yeah.
our lives and our feed and our minds. And I just wanted to put out more positivity. And I thought this was a great way to do it. So I wanted to thank you for bringing that up because I
Oh.
was like, oh, that's absolutely what I need more of.
Well, it was fantastic. Everyone listening should go sign up. When you get the link, well, have to tell me and I'll share it with my email list too, because that was great. I also did a launch just now of my new deep home reset service. So I've in some of the different home resets I've done, I noticed like components that really worked well together and gave kind of this full service. So that's this deep home reset covers that. You get the whole home reset plus a report plus a follow up, and that seems to really help. So I'm very excited about that, nervous about that. Just want to see it grow. So I'm trying to think of new ways to. That's where that idea of like, where can I challenge myself more, I think came in. How can I get the word out?
Yeah. Can you talk a little bit? I know that we have in the past, but I think we have a couple minutes here. Can you explain? Okay, so you're talking about the deep home reset and the components that you were seeing put together. So is that the reset itself and then your report and stuff that you do afterwards, that putting it all together to give more of like, so I can then take this information and utilize it? What is the goal for that?
Exactly. The goal for that is for someone who's living in their home. So there's kind of a standard, which I call I renamed it home energy refresh, is like if you're selling your home, like the idea is just to clear it out to allow for that new energy to more easily sell the home. There's a mini reset that's just for one room. And then this deep home reset is for if you're actively living in the home that you want to clear. Let's clear the energy. Let's see what comes up. The angels always give tips about what can be done to integrate those changes to help it. I create a custom home blessing. So it's kind of like an intention where you can use that to clear the space. So we talk about the different tools that are used. And then the follow-up really allows for questions. So like you said, how can I take this information and maintain that higher vibe, clear sense? What works for me? What did that mean? So I'll keep that conversation going and keep the clarity. I mean, we all have, you set an intention at the beginning of the session. So sometimes someone's looking for clarity. Sometimes I had one recently where releasing the old, kind of that letting go was definitely the theme, or maybe it's calling in abundance, or I had somebody who moved into a new space where it just didn't feel right. Like there was a lot of tension with the relationships within the family. So clearing that helped that communication flow. So whatever the intention is, just looking, the one thing, well, I love a lot of things about this work, but it's always about little changes with big impact. Mm-hmm. So not necessarily, you don't have to like declutter your whole home. You don't have to remodel your whole home. It's just kind of little tweaks. Okay, maybe area isn't flowing. It would benefit from this. Or maybe this is a high traffic area, so maybe a rock salt to help, absorb some of that energy would be helpful. So little changes, lighting, air, those kind of things.
Yeah. No, I really do like that. And I think that too, because I think that sometimes people think, okay, well, to do something like this, like I need you to come into my home and I need you to be able to do it. But you can do a lot of this work just virtually with working with somebody.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up. I actually just in this launch and kind of restructuring of the 3 offers on my website only offer remote. So I've been doing mostly remote energy is not limited by time and space. So I worked on a home in London, in South America, and all over the world and I'm based in California. So I can definitely do it remotely, and I love seeing the results. And part of me loves the, for lack of a better reaction, because I think in sub level there's a skeptic in all of us, and like, is this real? And then if I'm getting information and I've obviously never been, then it's a little bit more validation for the person receiving beyond the actual helpful information.
Yeah. Wow. Wonderful. Um, do you have any words, or I think you had said before, when we had started, what you're opening up for this month were? Can you remind me what words you said?
No, I always try to think of a focus and a feeling. I'm trying to think of how I can stretch myself a little bit more, because this month of October definitely felt like a stretch. So how can I, on a positive level, keep that stretch going? When I wrote out my goals, I quantified them. That's new for me. So I said, I want to do this many of this and this many of that. So maybe that'll be the stretch that helps me. I did do a business workshop, and so that inspired me maybe to do like a round of 30-day social media and schedule that out. I don't feel like that's always my strong point in terms of returns and effort. So I haven't totally convinced myself of that yet, but looking for that opportunity. So no, I haven't decided fully on a feeling yet, but
I think that this, honestly, I mean, we're still a little early anyway, but I think that from this conversation too, like leaning into that response and leaning into not trying to force it and just feeling.
that's a really good point. Oh, well done. Response.
I think you're hitting it right there by not saying by saying I'm kind of leaving it open right now. I'm not gonna make this go
See,
if it doesn't feel
I
good.
think that's another human design generator thing, right? That you need somebody to reflect it back to you, or you don't maybe need it, but it's very helpful.
Very
Thank
helpful. Oh, wonderful. All right. Do we have anything else that we need to?
I don't have anything else obvious that I wrote down, and I'm just so curious for your card pull. So if you're up for that.
Yeah. I pulled it right before we got on, but I haven't really looked at it yet. So let's see. All right, we got purity.
Purity. Okay.
First snow. Before the first snow, the earth is dark and cold. Fallen trees from autumn storms lay haphazardly atop the decaying leaves that cover the forest floor. However, when the first snow arrives, the darkness and decomposing soil are replaced by a purity that is light and bright. In the sunshine, the individual snowflakes atop the snowdrifts sparkle with crystalline light. Harsh sounds are muffled. Sharp corners and ragged edges are muted. Everything feels fresh and new. Debris seemingly disappears beneath the pristine white landscape. Softly falling snow illuminates the environment in a diffusion of swirling forms. At night, in the light of the full moon, the first snow is glowing and serenely silent, turning everything into an enchanted fairy tale realm. In some mystical traditions, descending snow symbolizes the transmission of knowledge from a higher plane, the heavens, to the lower planes, the earth, thus bringing purity to the earth. No matter what has happened in the past, everything can be fresh and new again. The purity of your soul is shining through everything that you encounter. You are entering into a period of grace. Simply open your heart and know that the best is yet to be. The past does not need to equal the future. Your future can be and will be shimmering, sparkling, and bright. Old limiting patterns are dropping away. Recurring challenges are releasing. This is a time of redemption, forgiveness, and holy healing.
There's a lot there, but thank you so much. That's fantastic. And I feel like that relates back to what you said earlier of like the magic sometimes happens in the struggle, or keep walking. The chaos of October will change tunes soon.
Yeah. 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 And I think that that's ability to like do that release and that let go too really spoke to me as I was reading that too,
Yes.
of the that the past doesn't have to dictate the future. Everything can be changed, and even just to the points that we were talking about earlier about the mindset and the meaning that you're attaching to things, and looking forward to what's to come.
Yeah. Amen. Well, I think that's a perfect note to end on. Thank you so much. I very much appreciate this, as I always do, and happy November. Thank you for joining me on Intuitive Wisdom. If this episode brought you clarity or inspiration, please take a moment to leave a 5-star review. It truly helps others find this space. And if someone you love, you could use a shift in energy, share this episode with them. You never know what might resonate. For more, explore my frequency reset service, tune into more episodes, or begin the journey through my book, all at deliciousease.com. That's DELICIOUSEASE.com. All right, until next time, trust your energy, honor your space, and keep coming home to yourself.